Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between the green hills of ancient India, there lived a young farmer named Arjun. His village, called Sundapur, was known for its fertile lands and hard-working people who grew rice, wheat, and vegetables to feed their families. Arjun was different from the other farmers in one important way. While everyone else had fields full of golden crops, his land produced very little. Year after year, he watched his neighbors harvest abundant grain while his own yields remained small and disappointing. The other villagers would whisper and shake their heads, wondering why Arjun's efforts never seemed to bear fruit. "Why do you even try?" his friend Ravi asked one day as they sat under a banyan tree. "Perhaps farming is not meant for you. You should find another path." Arjun looked at his rough, calloused hands and smiled gently. "My father was a farmer, and his father before him. This land is in my blood. I just need to keep learning, keep trying." But inside, Arjun's heart was heavy with doubt. He began to wonder if everyone was right. Maybe he was wasting his time. Maybe success was simply not meant for him. One evening, as the sun painted the sky orange and pink, Arjun walked to the edge of the village where an old temple stood. There, sitting on the temple steps, was a sage named Vishwanath. The old man was known throughout the region for his wisdom and kind heart. "Why do you look so troubled, young one?" Vishwanath asked, his eyes twinkling with warmth. Arjun sat beside him and poured out his heart. He spoke of his failures, his disappointment, and his growing belief that perhaps he should give up farming altogether. Vishwanath listened patiently, nodding slowly. When Arjun finished, the sage stood up and said, "Come with me tomorrow at sunrise. I want to show you something." The next morning, Arjun met Vishwanath at the temple. The old sage led him deep into the forest beyond the village, walking slowly but steadily along a narrow path. After an hour of walking, they arrived at a clearing where the most magnificent mango tree Arjun had ever seen stood tall and proud. Its branches were thick and strong, loaded with hundreds of sweet, ripe mangoes. "Beautiful, isn't it?" Vishwanath said. "It's incredible," Arjun replied, amazed. "It must be very old." "Indeed it is. But let me tell you a story," the sage said, settling himself at the base of the tree. 30 years ago, a young boy planted a tiny mango seed in this very spot. Do you know what happened in the first year?" Arjun shook his head. "Nothing." Vishwanath said with a gentle smile. "Absolutely nothing visible happened. The boy watered the spot every day, protected it from animals, cleared the weeds around it. But month after month, there was only soil. No sprout, no leaves, nothing." His friends laughed at him. They said he was wasting his time watering empty ground. "But he didn't give up?" Arjun asked. "No, because he trusted the process. He knew that beneath the soil, invisible to his eyes, something important was happening. The seed was sending roots deep into the earth, building a foundation. In the second year, finally, a small sprout appeared. Just 2 tiny leaves. His friends said, "After 2 years, this is all you have." 2 leaves? Vishwanath stood up and placed his hand on the massive trunk. But the boy kept watering, kept caring. In the 3rd year, the sapling was barely as tall as his knee. In the 5th year, it reached his shoulder. People in his village said he would never live to see it bear fruit. But he continued, day after day, year after year. "When did it finally give mangoes?" Arjun asked, completely absorbed in the story. After 10 years, it produced its first small batch of fruit. After 15 years, it became the most productive mango tree in the region. And now, 3 decades later, it feeds hundreds of people every season. Arjun looked up at the magnificent tree, understanding beginning to dawn in his eyes. Vishwanath continued, "That boy trusted the process even when he couldn't see results. He understood that great things take time. Success is not a sprint, my child. It is a journey that tests our patience, our faith, and our dedication. They sat in silence for a while, listening to the birds singing in the branches above. "But what about my farming?" Arjun finally asked. "What am I doing wrong?" "Tell me," Vishwanath said. "Have you been studying your soil? Learning from your failures? Asking the successful farmers for their wisdom? Or have you been simply repeating the same methods and hoping for different results?" Arjun felt his cheeks grow warm. The sage was right. He had been so focused on his disappointment that he hadn't truly tried to learn and improve. "Success takes time, yes," Vishwanath said, "but it also requires us to grow, to learn, to adapt. The seed trusts the process, but it also works hard beneath the soil, sending roots deeper, gathering strength. You must do the same." From that day forward, Arjun changed his approach completely. He visited the fields of successful farmers, asking questions and taking notes. He studied his soil, testing different areas and learning which crops grew best where. He woke up before sunrise to tend his land and stayed late into the evening, always observing, always learning. The first year, his harvest improved slightly. Some villagers noticed, but others still doubted. The second year, his yield doubled. People began to pay attention. The third year, Arjun's fields produced more than many of his neighbors. Those who had once mocked him now came to ask for advice. By the fifth year, Arjun had become one of the most successful farmers in Sundarpur. But more importantly, he had learned the most valuable lesson of his life. One day, a young farmer named Priya came to him, tears in her eyes. "Arjun, I have been trying for 2 years, but my crops keep failing. Everyone says I should give up. What should I do?" Arjun smiled, remembering his own journey. He led her to a small mango tree he had planted in his yard 5 years ago. It was now strong and healthy, with its first mangoes beginning to ripen. "Do you see this tree?" he asked. "When I planted it, it was just a seed. For months, I saw nothing. But I watered it every day because I trusted the process. I learned that lesson from a wise sage, and now I share it with you." He looked at Priya with kind, understanding eyes. Success is not about quick results. It's about consistent effort, continuous learning, and unwavering patience. Every failure is a lesson. Every setback is an opportunity to grow stronger roots. Trust the process, work hard, keep learning, and your time will come. Priya wiped her tears and nodded, hope returning to her face. Years later, when people asked Arjun the secret of his success, he would always tell them the same thing: trust the process. Success takes time and patience. The seed beneath the soil cannot see the sun, but it keeps growing anyway. That is faith. That is how greatness is built. One day at a time, one lesson at a time, one small step at a time. And so, the wisdom of Vishwanath spread throughout the village, reminding everyone that the most beautiful fruits in life come to those who trust the process and never give up.